Guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lew. Coming to you live from Accelerate Life University, XLR8Life.com. Coach Lew will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the motivation, the energy, the life, and all the success you really want and deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lew.
What an introduction, guys. What an amazing introduction. What an amazing fade in like that. Obviously, we've had a studio update once again, which is awesome. I have no complaints because when things get better, that's really what we're after, right? That's why you're here. Are you not here on Breakthrough with Lew every Monday morning to make something better? Okay, I don't think you want to come on and go, hey, coach, teach me how to make something worse. Teach me how to get lazy. Teach me how to not break through anything. Teach me how to do status quo. I don't think that's what you're showing up for, guys. You know, how many times have you ever heard somebody say, man, I really missed out on that. Or that was my idea and somebody else got rich on it. Or if I had known then what I know today, I would have, how about high school? Wow, if you knew what you knew today, would you have not had some more fun in high school? Yeah, go figure, right? Imagine that, or college, or whatever the case was. So I got to ask you the question, how many times have you heard this from people? Oh my God, if only I had known, or if I had done, or if that stock, oh man, if I had known, or worse yet, oh, if I had known, if I had done my research and I had known that company was about to tank, I could have gotten out. Oh yeah, no, I am serious. This is crazy. You know, and today's show is, if not now, when? And that is so impactful, because now is the time. Because these things you missed out on were nows back then, and you didn't take action. That's it. That's today's show. Boom, you're done. Realize that, and understanding that distinction alone, if you get nothing else out of today, is the $1 million answer. What if you could go back knowing what you know now? What would you have done differently? And a lot of people, and I get this, a lot of people say, well, I think I wouldn't change a thing because I wouldn't be here now. I might not have my kids, my spouse, my business, if it hadn't have been for the things I went through. I get that. But my point is designing the next 1, 5, 10, 20 years of your life so that it isn't in reaction and you don't go, what did I miss out on? It's now you have that business, you have that wife, the kids, the husband, the dream job or whatever it is, or you're not, and you're going, all right, now I really got to do something. But now what can you do with the amazing things that have kind of haphazardly come to you in life? You know, maybe a lot of the things that you ended up with weren't exactly what you planned for. So my question is, back then, why did you wait? Why did you wait to buy that stock? Why did you wait to approach that person that you were really excited to get in a relationship with, and you held back and somebody else took them on a date? You know, somebody else asked them to dance and it was over and done with. They were off and gone. And, you know, and how many times has this happened? You know, going back to the high school reunion, I had some friends who reconnected back after years. And they're together now, and they're an amazing couple, and they both have kids, and, you know, and stuff. But they made different choices, and they were like, we were the right choice all along. Now it worked out for the best. But see, those are the things that I got to ask you. But no more important than why did you wait then? Learn from that. But what are you waiting for now? What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the next president? Are you waiting for the economy to come back? Let me tell you, the economy's not coming back. It's going to train wreck crash. And I don't care, you know, what color your affiliation is here, folks. We're in trouble in this country. All right, there is going to be a crash, and it is government orchestrated. Okay, not 100%, there's some other factors, but let's face it, we're not doing this to ourselves. Greed of us American people has not created the gas prices. Business people are not greedy. They're struggling to keep their businesses open. So, work with your local companies. Nobody asked for COVID. That was at best a bad experiment gone really bad. At worst, it was downright warfare in modern day. Okay, nobody asked to be masked and have their businesses shut down, and some people forced in different parts of the world to be vaccinated, or they were put in camps. Nobody asked for all that. Nobody asked for riots. Nobody asked for all the shenanigans that are going on and all the fighting amongst the political parties. But nobody's coming to save you. My point to that is this isn't a political rant. No president, no governor, nobody's going to come save you and go, oh, I know it's been rough. Let me help you out. Okay? Nobody's really going to save you. A $600 check they sent out that a lot of us didn't get because we actually continued to work and produce is not going to make a difference, okay? So no one's coming to rescue you. Nobody's coming to save you except God, or however you call your creator. But there's nobody going to come rescue you and go, oh, let me just fix this for you. So what does that mean? Oh, it's over? No, it means it's up to you. Again, if not now, when? Well, after the crash. Okay, so I personally have said I would not suggest buying property right now until after the crash, unless you can find the right deal. See, what you don't want to do is, oh, I got to buy a house, and you're looking going, that $480,000 house is really worth $300,000, and it'll be probably worth $225,000 after a real estate crash. We all know it's coming. Guys, if you lived through 2008, the steps are going exactly the same direction, just really worse when it comes to economics. But so would now be a good time to buy a house? You might say no after what you just said, Coach. Or you might say yes, Coach, because I know there's one in foreclosure, or there's one that's in an estate and they want to off it and it needs a little bit of work, but I can do the work. See, that's the difference. If not now, when? Okay, you might not be jumping to go buy a house right now. You might not be jumping to go buy a brand new car right now, or a car that's overpriced by $10,000 to $15,000. I know this. I'm on the wholesale side of that, where I do the wholesale auctions. Cars are overinflated right now. They may not be the best investment, but you might pick one up from an estate, or a classic, or something that there's going to be a use for down the road, and invest into it. Maybe commodities are a good idea right now, because when there's economic issues, the commodities are going to go up. But these are things, I wouldn't go highly invested in volatile stocks right now. But there are still stocks and startup companies and private companies you can invest in. And if you have money, do some hard money lending or something. There are options and opportunities. What I'm saying is it not time to get going on your life? Okay, this isn't a gloom and doom show this morning. This is a let's get going show. Let's step up and do something. So, like I said, someday is going to come. So what are you going to say in a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Are you going to say, I wish I did? Are you going to miss out again? Are you going to say, oh man, I wish, that show that I watched in 2022 with Coach Lew, I wish I had stepped out and opened my business then, because my business would have had really great value in the times that was happening. But now everybody's in that business, and because you're not the only one that has the idea. Or you're going to be celebrating an amazing life and go, you know what, I made a decision on that day back in 2022, listening to Coach Lew. Whether you're listening live or you're listening to the replay, I made a decision to step up and go. If not now, when? Now is the time to take the stand. And you might say, yeah, but things are expensive and real estate's expensive and, I need a place to run my business. I get you. So maybe you start in a lower rent district for your business. Maybe you start in a warehouse, not in a storefront, because after all, a lot of your marketing and a lot of your traffic is going to come from online versions. How many people right now, let's see, and pop it in some chats here if you would for me. How many people own a business that you wish you didn't have in the location you had, because if you had known how the shifts were going to happen through COVID, this, that, the other, you could have gone, I could almost practically run this out of my garage, or I could run this out of a warehouse as opposed to this expensive storefront that took a lot of people down. How many people had businesses that were in retail centers, high dollar? There's some really beautiful retail centers and malls that lost their businesses because they can only sustain 2 or 3 months without, any income before they depleted. Okay, how many people had that happen when, Joe Blow, who runs his little landscaping company out of his garage and parks his trailers and stuff behind his house, flourished? So I'm not saying be dumb and go, I'm going to go find the highest rent location, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No, if you need to be in that high rent district, for your business, say for instance in our area in a Winter Park, you might go, let me prepare everything else and wait about a year till some things fold, and then these high rent places are going to be eager to put people in, or you start it in a lower rent type environment. Okay, and this, I'm going a little off base here because I'm trying to give you an example of taking action now without being reckless. Because yes, we are facing a probably, who knows, maybe we'll pull out of it, but we'll probably see a major real estate and economic crash. And after every real estate and economic crash, what is there? Prosperity for those who prepared and were ready to take advantage of the situation. I'm not saying take advantage of others. I'm just saying, hey, if you have some capital and you have some assets when you come out the other side of a crash, those are the people that bought up all the properties from the banks that got foreclosed on in 08, 09 and made millions of dollars. Not because they're greedy, because they were smart. It's not greedy to take advantage of an opportunity. And right now, today, you have opportunity in front of you. And you're going, what are you going to sell me, Coach? You got a business plan? You said, no, I'm not selling you anything. I'm just telling you today is an opportunity to make a decision to say, this is the direction I'm going. The old paradigms don't necessarily work. Some basic paradigms always will work. Integrity, honesty, good business, over-delivering. Those things are never going to go obsolete, guys. Scamming, half-assed service, over-promising and under-delivering will only get you so far. But the new paradigms are the way people do business. Look at Amazon. Come on, we all use it. We all complain a little bit about, I remember everybody was, Bezos could give everybody an extra $100,000 and just give his money away. Why? Well, his employees only make $15 an hour or something like that. Why? Well, okay, but his employees don't do what he does. Okay? And that's the point there. If you're an employee and that's all you ever want to be, you can't expect to have your boss just hand you an extra $100,000, just because you're there. You got to be worth it. You got to work your way up. Now, you could start as a $15 an hour employee and end up at $100,000 a year employee with a company if you deliver $100,000 in value. And that might be now it's the time to take that decision and go, you know what, Coach, I don't want to be a business owner. I know I've heard some of your stories. I've followed you. I get the ups and downs, or I saw my uncle or my brother or my sister have and it just took up all their time. I get get it. Not everybody's designed to be an entrepreneur, but be an entrepreneur of your own life. You could decide today that, you know what? I don't want to be a $15 an hour Amazon employee. I want to be an executive at Amazon because I've got some great ideas, and you know what? I've worked in the trenches. And that's what you get from me. I'm going to knock this microphone through my chest one of these days. That's what you get from me. I didn't start out silver spoon in mouth. I started out at 16 years old, working during the day, trying to get any schooling in I could, cleaning offices at night, had my own little downtown apartment, which was very little, slept on the floor half the time in front of the space heater to keep warm, and did what I had to do to survive. Okay, you're not talking to some golden boy who, had the cars bought for him and the gifts and here's free college, and every penny of my education of anything I've ever been educated in, I paid for out of my own pocket. Never had a student loan, a student grant, anything of any sort for anything. And a lot of the education I took, it's unconventional education. You can't get any help with that anyway. But I didn't want help. What I wanted to do is, if I wanted to be educated in something, I wanted to learn something, it was something that I felt enough value to go, you know what, I'm going to work hard to peel off the money to do it. And there again, nobody's coming to save you. Okay? It's all fine and dandy to go, I'm going to go to college and party, and I'm going to get paid, and there's extra money and grants and loans, and I'm just going to coast through the next 4 years and have a good time. And then you come out with a degree and you've got this mountain of student loan debt, and then you're going, I think the government should pay that off for me. Bullshit. Come on. If you're going to school, go for something that's your passion. Put your effort in it. Make the decision today that, you know what, just because mom and dad said I should probably be an engineer like dad, doesn't mean you're going to be an engineer like dad. Maybe you become a sound engineer. Maybe you become a broadcaster. Maybe you go totally in a different direction, or maybe you are designed to be that engineer, and that's what your passion is. But my point is, how many people are sitting in school right now? And comment on this. And you're taking something and you're going, well, I'm doing this because I'm supposed to. Not because it's my passion. Oh, if I had my choice, I'd be doing XYZ. Then why aren't you doing XYZ? Unless XYZ is sitting at home smoking pot, eating Cocoa Puffs, and playing a video game. If that is your XYZ, we got a problem. Now, of course, there are some people that do that and create a video game and make millions, but chances are you should probably get rid of the Cocoa Puffs and the pot. You can create video games. I have nothing against that. There's some people that have done really well in that industry. There's people that enjoy that. All right? It's few and far between I play a video game because I prefer doing this, but once in a while I like to play a video game. It's fun. But I wouldn't necessarily want to make my living doing that, but you may. But if you're sitting in school, going to school for engineering or business, and business is always you can't hardly go wrong, but yeah, these days going to Harvard for a business education, you can learn more on YouTube in less time than you can at Harvard. And I hate to say that, for a whole lot less money. So just remember, and I'm not knocking you if you're in Harvard for a business education, but the paradigms have shifted so much that you can sit there for 4 to 6 years in school and come out and have a $35,000 a year job and $300,000, $400,000 in school debt and go, I'm never going to get out from under this. Okay, so self-education is really a huge revolution right now, which is amazing. We'll talk about that on some different days, though. So again, what are you going to say in 1, 5, 10, 20 years from now? Are you going to say, I missed out again? Or are you going to be celebrating the decisions you made today? Okay. You may say, easier said than done, because it's easy for you, coach, because you can talk to people on camera. You can get in front of people live. You've done this all your life. Okay, well, yeah. There's things that I need to step up and do too. This is not a one-way street. This is not me being the all-out God of motivation, or however you want to call it, or God of teaching here, and I've got it all done. I'm far from done. I have a few courses up on my site, accelerate-life.com, which I'd love you to go check out. It's up right above here, right there. No. there. That's where it is, right there. Okay, so I'm still the mirrored imaging and everything. So, but seriously, what was your excuse last time? What did it cost you? Let me tell you a quick story. And I know I'm going probably a little long this morning, but this is going to kick off a whole paradigm shift in the show. Years ago, it was around 2004, 2005, I was doing Mastery University with Tony Robbins. And I was sitting, and I'll never forget, I was in Virginia at Wealth Mastery, which was pre-business mastery days. And I was like, you know, my buddy JD gave me these tapes. And back then they were cassette tapes. A partial set of, Personal Power. And that got me going, and I went to a UPW weekend. I signed up for Mastery University, and I'm at Wealth Mastery, and I'm looking and I'm watching Tony on stage and everything, and I'm going, the tapes were great. They got me going. These live events are freaking amazing. But, it's expensive, and you got to travel and hotels and everything else, and not everybody's in that position. Fortunately, at that time, I was in a position where I could afford it, although it was a stretch, but the education was well worth it. But I'm sitting there and I'm going, God, if we could do something where he could get into people's TVs and you could interact, or you could do, videos instead of audios. If we could just do DVDs of something like being at this event and he's talking to you live, it would be so much more impactful than just the audio, which audio is great. But, if you were just listening to me, and you may be just listening to me on Spotify, but that's when you get over to the website, XLR8LIFE.com, and you check out the live shows. But I thought, what a cool idea. I gotta get somebody to get me to Tony, and I gotta talk to him about this. And years go on, and things happen, and children, and in life, and business, and, and the crash of 2008, and, the next thing you know, and now I look and I go, wow, Tony teamed up with some guys that had the idea of doing just that, and they're making millions, billions off of this. And I could sit there and say, that was my idea. Did I have the idea? Yeah. Were there probably 100 other people in the room out of the thousands of us there that had the same idea around the same time? Probably. Who took action was the one that got to be in that position. Now, I can't sit there and kick myself in the butt and go, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I mean, that would have been great. How different would life be? How, and not just different, but how many more resources would I have right now? As opposed to, and I'm not saying I'm resourceful-less. Instead of resourcefulness, get resourcefulness, right? So, but, what was my excuse? Well, how am I going to get there? How am I going to get through to them? And I could have, because I had made friends with some of the lead trainers there and stuff, I could have gotten through, but I didn't have the confidence, and I didn't think then was the time. That was my whole point. What did it cost me? I don't know in the long run. But what I do know is it would be, my financial picture would be a huge difference, I'm sure, if that, if I had been the one to bring that idea and we had teamed up. Great. But the thing is now I look and go, okay, can't look back on the spilled milk, quote unquote, look and go, what's next? Okay? Do you want to know how to break through this pattern of going, well, I'll do it someday, or it's easier said than done because it's easier for you because XYZ, because you have the education, or you don't have the education, or you have the smile or the camera ability, or, you're in shape and I'm overweight, or takes bucks to make bucks. I mean, those are all BS excuses. And I know you think I'm saying bullshit, but it's belief system, which can be bullshit at times. And guys, I'm going to call it like it is. You know what? I am over worrying if I'm going to offend somebody with language or with the push that gets one person to step up and break through and make something of themselves while the other one goes, must be nice, I don't like this guy because he's too unrealistic. You know what, if you think I'm too unrealistic, Go to somebody who's more realistic, like your friend that you can go sit at Starbucks and spend $6 a cup for coffee and bitch about why your life isn't where it is. Or you can tune into a show like mine, or you can get a coach, or you can go to a Tony Robbins event, or whatever the case is, and save up those $6 and go invest it in yourself. Or if you're not that kind of person where you really go, oh no, it's just the way it is. My government, Biden plan is going to make it happen for me. I'm going to get a free check, or this one, or Joe Schmo, whoever the next president, or next one, or in 10 years when we got this president, or we have all electric cars, and it'll all. No, you got to save yourself. And if you don't see that, you're in the wrong place. And if you're going, yeah, I'm confused and this is a lot to take in and I'm ready, coach, I'm ready to make some change, you're in the right place. And if I make you tingle in here once in a while and get excited in your heart and go, oh, I can do this, oh, I'm going to take action, or if I make you really uncomfortable where you're squirming in your seat going, he's really calling me out on this. I'm not liking what he's saying right now, but that son of a gun is right. Or, he stimulated something in me to make a change that I need to make, then you're in the right place, okay? Because I used to think, oh, I gotta appease everybody. Can't say this, can't do that. Just make sure you don't offend anybody. You know what, if I never offend you, I'm never gonna get you off your butt. And I don't mean to offend you because I wanna come at you and hurt you. I wanna offend your ability to hide behind, oh, it's the governor's fault, or I live in this state, or it's the president, and it's the gas prices. It can always be something, but are you going to step up yourself? There's people rocking and rolling right now at almost $6 a gallon for freaking diesel fuel, and most of my vehicles are diesel. Do I love pulling up to the pump? No. I hate it. Do we need to do something about it? Yes, but that's a discussion for a different day. But one thing you can control, you can't control that. You can sit there and say, I'm not buying gas, I'm not buying diesel, I'm not this, that, and the other, and guess what? You're still going to have a problem. Or you go, hey, everybody just needs to have electric cars, and you know what? We're already having grid failure here in Florida because it's hot as heck out. And people are using more air conditioning, and we're already having some rolling hits. We had it twice this week where we had a little rolling blackout. Guess what? You plug in as many cars are on the road, and we're going to have a total meltdown. You can't. It's got to be about balance. I'm not against electric vehicles. I am against the fact of what you do with the batteries when you're done with them, and they're very toxic. I would personally say solar cars, if you're going to go with something that's a non-fossil fuel. What a concept. But, there's all kinds of ideas. Elon, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about that, by the way. You got the technology, I got the idea. Come visit with me. So seriously though, guys, I want you to take a step up. I want you to bring yourself up. That's what we're here to do. I'm not trying to knock you down. I'm not trying to make you offended here and there, but I am trying to make you squirm in your seat once in a while if you're not doing what you know you should be doing, or the thing that gives you the most reward to you in your heart, your soul, and hey, let's face it, your pocketbook. You want to make money. You want to be successful, but your reasons for that are as different and personal as you are different and personal from me, from you, to everybody else. Everybody thinks that the world is against each other and we're so ripped up in this country, and that really isn't true. There's a few people that are really hateful towards each other, and that's not any one side. That's on both sides of anything you think that there's a turmoil over right now. There's people that are being hateful on both sides. That isn't a one-way street. So let's face the reality there that the change begins with you. We did two things this weekend. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, we were out to breakfast, and there's this beautiful baby that just kept looking around the booth and waving, and just super expressive little girl. She was just a tiny little one. And when the parents were getting up to leave, I said, excuse me, I said, I really want to acknowledge you guys. I said, because to have such an amazing child that's so friendly and so well behaved, I said, you guys have to be amazing parents. Now, these people walked out of that restaurant like they were walking on air. They were like, oh yeah, we're the best parents. And all it took was a nice compliment. You know, they could have walked out just feeling like that was a nice breakfast, but we gave them an experience. And then later on in the day, we were walking by the waterfront, and there was a couple with a new baby. And, you know, they were of a very different culture and so forth. And, you know, sometimes people, they're worried that different cultures don't like each other. Well, the husband's trying to take a picture of the wife and the baby with the water, you know, the water in the background. And I just walked up. I said, hey, so you want me to get a picture of you guys all together? I said, we know when, you know, the kids were real little, it's usually one parent with the kid or the other parent with the kid in the pictures. And they were like, wow, you know, and they were so thrilled, and I told them they make a beautiful family, whatever. We walked off, but they were like looking like, wow, how cool it is that people just treat each other nicely. So we walked off, and, you know, it was like, we both decided that's what we need a little bit more of, just once or twice a day, go a little inch over and do something nice that you wouldn't normally do, that absolutely lights somebody else up. Didn't take any energy from us. But the thing is, when you light somebody else up and you see that you did something that makes somebody feel good, doesn't it make you feel good? And it doesn't mean we walk around and, you know, fake it. Do just something genuinely nice, genuinely decent. Okay, so back on track here. That was just something I wanted to share with you, because it's about the feeling. Aren't we really after a feeling, and a feeling of fulfillment and satisfaction in life? Success is amazing, but success without fulfillment is failure, and that comes from Tony Robbins. I didn't create that, but let me tell you, I'm starting to live it more and more as we go. It's like when you succeed at something, and then you don't have fulfillment, it's not good. We worked our butts off this week. We had a 600 lot auction Friday night. And you're going, what does this have to do with it? Well, that's a lot of lots. It's a lot of stuff to move in an evening. And we got to the end of it, and for a minute we were like, oh my God, we're so tired. Oh my God. And then it was like, oh my God, how about we focus on the success of we did it? We made it through it. We did that. The biggest auction we've ever done lot-wise, and, you know, and it went smooth and it was great. Instead of going, oh, I'm tired and how hard that was, how about the fulfillment of, wow, you know, we had a couple of people being wise butts going, oh, you won't get through all this, you won't get through all this. The naysayers, and it was like, that in itself was satisfying, to prove to a naysayer that it's doable. Not to prove them wrong, but to open up their eyes and go, oh, all right, didn't think you could do that. Well, what am I falling short on? And what could I really do in life? And when you look at what you're falling short on, you might say, why are you focusing on what's wrong, Coach? And it's like, not what's wrong. Use that to motivate you. All right, so here we go. Do you really want to know how to break through this pattern of someday, or then, or not now? Well, I'm glad you asked, because here we go. All right, number one, get your pens and paper out. Stand up, take a deep breath, shake it out a little bit, and sit back down if you want, or stand up and do this. Decide today what you'll no longer stand for. This is number one. I will no longer stand for this. I will no longer stand for waiting to see what happens in the political realm. I will no longer stand for waiting to see if, you know, oh, it might be not the time or the time to start a business. If you have a passion in your heart and you have a business you want to start it today. You might adjust the way you do it, and as opposed to if you were starting it 2 or 3 years ago, but look at it this way. Those of us that have been through the past 2 or 3 years of business and been forced to adjust some things and make some massive changes, and some people even lost their businesses, you don't have to go through all that. Learn from it. Go, wow, okay, these restaurants stayed open because they offered curbside. These restaurants closed because they, you know, didn't think there was any other way than having people come in and sit down, and they weren't allowed to do that or whatever. Learn from it and go, I'm no longer willing to stand for this. I'm no longer willing to stand for maybe the job you're in, and you're going, I hate this job, even though it makes me a good living. I could go do a job I love. I might not make as much, but I'm going to come home and not be crabby with my kids or my spouse, or be so burned out at the end of the day there's no time for boom boom in the bedroom. Because then your marriage will go away if there's no time for boom boom in the bedroom, or you're too tired or that. Decide what you're no longer willing to stand for. I know that you're going, oh God, he said boom boom in the bedroom. Okay, you know what? Normal human beings have a physical attraction. There's nothing wrong with that. Number 2, decide exactly what you want from life and how you want it to be. What do you really want? Well, I want to make some more money. Here's $1. Get the hell out of here. Okay? You want to make more money? Come see me. I'll give you $1. And you're like, well, that's not going to change. Of course, exactly. It's not going to change anything. You got to quantify. I want more boom boom in the bedroom. Okay, well, you better treat your wife or your husband better. Okay, that might be you might need to buy some flowers once in a while, or a nice little card, or something, to set the stage. Or I want to be 50 pounds lighter. Okay. Well, it means you need to get off your butt and move. So decide exactly what you want. I want to lose some pounds. It isn't going to do it. You can lose 2 or 3 pounds and you're going to lose your momentum. If you go, I've got to make it a must to lose 50 pounds, and this is how I'm going to do it. Ooh, there's a big difference, right? Number 3, you've got to commit not only to doing, but to being the kind of person who does the following through. And remember, this is not the kind of thing that is for other people. Oh, that is the curse of death. Okay? Well, I'm not one of those kind of CrossFit people, so I'll never lose 50 pounds. Okay, I'm not a CrossFit person either. I'm a cross-training person. I love OCR, so, similar. But I do agree that you shouldn't go, put something over your head and have to throw it on the ground and have it go bang smash, because you can't lower it back down with control. You're lifting too damn heavy. Okay, that's a one-way street to disaster. And not all CrossFit is like that, but some of them are. Some of them are just psycho about that. Oh yeah, everybody's the same. You're going to do the same thing at 50 as you do at 18. Well, maybe not. Some 50-year-olds can do a lot more than 18-year-olds. Some can't. But my point is it's not for other people, but in the form of exercise. Maybe you like to go outside and run instead of being on a treadmill in a gym. Maybe you like certain sports, and that's going to help you lose the weight. I love basketball, and initially you're 50 pounds overweight and your belly's smacking you and knocking over the other players you're playing with, but that might not be a bad thing. Maybe it helps you, shoot a basket, because I can't outrun them, but you certainly can knock them over, whatever the case is. I'm being funny here, but it's not. Stop thinking that's for other people, or I don't have the education for that. But I've lived, you might tell me, I've lived this, I've done this all my life, but I don't have that degree, so I can't, really go any further. Really? You think that you being in a certain business or industry for 10 years, and you're not as qualified to do and grow as the kid that comes out of 2 years of college and's never touched the industry, but he's got a degree. You might say, well, he's got a degree, so those young ones are going to beat me out, even though I've been doing this all my life. It's something to be said for experience, folks. Something to be said for education. I am not anti-education. Don't ever take that. Don't ever stop learning. I am I'm very encouraging to open up your mind to various forms of education. Because the standard education, especially in our grade schools and all that, is so antiquated, it's not funny. It's based on the 1950s, where you sat down, shut up, didn't talk to your neighbor, and everybody was equal, and you go and you get a job and you work yourself up through the ranks. Well, we're in a whole different world now. It's an entrepreneurial world. It's, so just remember that some forms of education have become antiquated. Some forms of education are amazingly simple and self-education, and some self-education is shit. Some people are selling courses on Facebook, folks, which, you promise you $1 million weeks and everything else and private jets and all this, and there's no content behind it. And then there's some self-education that you can get out there that is absolutely amazing, that blows away a Harvard education. And I'm not knocking Harvard. I use it as an example because it happens to be a top school. But a lot of people are coming out of some of these top schools and cannot make a good living. And then there are people that are YouTube educated, and I don't say that nastily because you may be watching me on YouTube. This is an amazing platform, that are succeeding beyond all belief. And I know people like this, and I interact with these people and know that it's not, they're not going on going, I have 1 million followers and I made $2 million last year on YouTube, and you go, no, that's fake. Anybody can say that. No, there's people doing this stuff. But the key is doing. Okay, you might again go, well, that's for other people, or they're younger than me, or, I don't know computers. You can learn. Okay, so here we go. It's going to take you to step 4. Design a plan, which may include lots of learning, to focus on exactly what you want. Okay, when you get online and get on the computer each day, if you're designing an online business, get on and get learning. Don't scroll through Facebook unless you're doing your research to see what kind of funnels people are using or something like that. But don't get on Facebook and be commenting and la-di-da for 45 minutes and then work for 15 minutes. Get on there and learn. And then if later on in the day you want to da-di-da and connect with friends on Facebook, that's also fine after you've done what you need to do for that day, that week, whatever. Okay, number 5 is take Mongo action. That's massive, great, on-the-go action. So it's all made into this word Mongo. I don't know if Mongo is really a word, but it is to me. Massive is a lot of action. On-the-go action means you're really going somewhere with it, and it's got to be calculated action. Action just in itself doesn't mean anything. It's got to be calculated Mongo action. Dive in. This isn't a stick your toe in and dabble and go, ooh, the water's a little cold. Jump in. If you've ever done a cold plunge or anything like that, you don't get in gently into the water, okay? Because you're not going to do it. You're going to get in up to your knees and you're going to get out and you're going, this is cold. But if you go 1, 2, 3, don't negotiate, and you jump in, like in an OCR race and, the Shriveled Richard ice bath, where you got to jump in this thing full of ice and swim underneath and come out the other side. And if you negotiate and try to crawl in gently, you're not going to do it. You got to jump in, go, and get the hell through it as fast as you can, because it is crazy. But that's Mongo action. And you know what? The people that take Mongo action are the ones that have the better times in the race, because they don't sit there and go, oh God, I got to prepare for that. They go 1, 2, 3, go. Just do it. Whenever you have an idea or an action you're going to take, don't sit there and try to figure out, is it going to work? Is it going to 1, 2, 3, go, and then learn from it. You may have to adjust it, and that's your next thing. Learn and grow, okay? And adjust. The first times you do something, you're usually not your best. It is a learning, growing, implementing, and repeat. Think back, when you were young and you had your first, girlfriend or boyfriend, and, your first encounter, and you go, it probably wasn't the best. Might not have been the worst. Maybe it was your best. Who knows? But, chances are, or your first kiss wasn't like, oh my God, you're the best kisser in the world. You might have kind of had to grow into that. Or your first time skiing, you probably didn't cut and go down the hill and impress the world, and everybody said, oh, world-class Olympic skier. You probably fell on your butt 100 times. What about playing basketball? Maybe you like to play basketball. I'm sure you didn't swoosh dunk, just because you were, born and your name was Shaquille. You didn't, wow, he's going to, look at that. He never misses a basket. No, these dudes put hours and hours of training into this. Or, writing computer code, you didn't sit down and go, I created the world's best video game at 6 years old. You might have had the idea here, and that might have been created here, but the coding skills and everything, you learned and grew. You probably did something, you might have coded that game and said, oh no, Mario's head is on his arm. Oops, got to put it somewhere else. That's growing, learning and growing and implementing, and then repeat. You continue to learn, grow, implement, and repeat until you get it right. So I ask you, once again, the most important question of the day. If not now, when are you going to do this? And you might be going, what's this? Which one? Which part? Was it my body? Was it my relationships? I don't know. What are you here for? That's you. You decide that. When are you going to do it? When is now the time to take action? Okay? It doesn't mean you decide, I'm opening a business today, and by tomorrow morning you're in business. You might be. I mean, some places and some businesses it could be that easy. You could be so ready and so educated in what you're going to do. You could already, be just turn the key tomorrow morning. You log in, you file an LLC or an Inc., depending on what state you live in. If you're blessed enough to live in a state like Florida, you can create a company overnight. If you're cursed enough to live in a state like California, you got to wait 6 to 8 weeks for them to bother to file your company, but you do what you got to do in the meantime. You get going, but you can start right now. As a matter of fact, if you set a goal today, never, ever, 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 ever leave the sight of making a goal without taking an immediate action and a first step. And you might go, well, there's a lot to, opening a new business, Coach. You don't just, hey, I put an open sign on a door and I'm open and it's all happening from here. No, I agree. But if you don't buy that open sign today and order that open sign, your business will never say open, okay? Because tomorrow won't happen. You'll put it off and you'll say, well, I got to wait. And you know what? You might not even have a location picked if it's a brick and mortar. Buy the open sign today, because that sets it in. It's the psychology and in here that makes the difference. It's not necessarily being able to go, I'm in business. Now what? Yeah, now what? Now you got to do the work. But if you decide today, I'm doing this, I'm leaving my job, I'm opening a business, I'm in the position to be able to do this, I've set myself up for it, or I need to start setting myself up for it today. Maybe you're going, well, I don't, it's going to take me 10 grand, 20 grand to open the business. I've got $1,000 in savings. Now, I've seen people start businesses on a shoestring. I get it. It's a little easier if you have a little bit of reserve. But if you know it's going to take no less than 10,000, and you're going, well, what can I do? I only have 1,000. Well, you know what? You could put 200 a week away for the next, year, and have that money to start the business. And you might go, well, that puts me out a year. And you're saying, don't wait. Don't wait to get started. Maybe you don't have that 10,000, but you can start saving for it, where instead of going, well, someday when I have 10,000, that's not going to happen. If you say immediately this week, I'm taking $200 out of every one of my paychecks and I'm putting it away and I'm not touching it, or I'm going to start buying and selling with it to accelerate the process or something, that'll get you your business 50 weeks from today. You'll be able to open it up. And you'll find that there's ways, if you start learning and designing and planning to open that business, that you might be able to shortcut some of the money. But my point to that, and you might say, well, nope, I'm out. I don't have a spare dollar at the end of the week. Get a second job. If you really want this, you'll do it. What do you mean get a second job? I already work 50 hours a week. So are you willing to work an extra 20 hours a week? 15 hours a week for the next year, to have the ability to maybe make millions? Or do you want to stay next year going, well, I'm barely making it by, and in 5 years, well, I got a 2% raise. Oh, that's big. No, that's not big. That sucks. Okay? Give yourself the raise in life you want. And it's not always just financial. You might go into work every day just feeling like, I really don't want to be here. Well, if that's the case, you're wasting your life. You're wasting your life. You're cheating your company. Even if your boss is a jerk, you shouldn't be cheating them. That's not fair. Are you that kind of person? Are you a cheater? Are you a scraper by? Or are you a person that's ready to unleash the amazement that you have in you. You have a gift in you. You have a business or a way of being in a relationship or a way of being a parent or a way of being a pastor or a religious leader or even a politician. God, we could use some better ones of those for sure. And I'm very proud of one of our local girls. I'm going to give a shout out here. Brittany Walker is running for county commission in our county, and she's a young lady, family lady, very, very passionate about freedom and amazeness, and I'm giving her a shout out. But I would give her a vote if I were you guys, if you're in my county, because this gal's going to get stuff done. That's the kind of politicians we need. We need people that are community people that really care about our children, really care about a united community, really care about the things that matter, not care about lining their pockets. And again, I call it like it is. If you're a politician out there stealing and lining your pockets and living off the backs of hardworking Americans, you should be cringe. You should want to go hide under a rock. If you're a politician who's going out there going, you know what, I want to make some positive, good change and put funds where they should go and not reward laziness, reward people who really are putting in the effort and everything else, whammo. That's what we need. See, a politician isn't necessarily bad, although a lot of them really do suck right now. But Brittany, you don't suck if you're watching. That's why I would endorse somebody like her. We have some great local leaders in our community here in Longwood that are amazing. They really, they put the community first. And see, that's where you and what you do as a business or as a family leader or as a clergy leader, as a community leader, if you put your community and you serve with all these steps and you do something or you open a business or do something that serves the needs and really is a win-win for everybody, it's amazing. Okay? So again, I'm going to ask you, if not now, when are you going to do this? You're going to wait that 1, 5, 10, 20 years, get to the end of your life and go, wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda? You're going to shoulda all over yourself? Shoulda don't smell good, okay? You don't shoulda all over your life. You do. You create. You be a master. And it doesn't mean you never make a mistake. It doesn't mean you don't fall. It doesn't mean you never need a hand up. It doesn't mean that you don't reach out when you need help. It doesn't mean all that. It doesn't mean you're perfect. But I'll leave you with this. It's better to take imperfect action till you get good at it than to take no action at all, because you'll never be any good. Okay? And it doesn't mean you fake it till you make it. I've always despised that way of putting it. I say take imperfect action till you can refine it till it's great. And it's never going to be perfect. Things are going to change. Stuff is going to shift. Things are going to happen outside of your control. But it's how you respond and that you never give up. And that's the thing. If you have a dream, don't give up. If it's not working the way you're doing it, change how you're doing it. But don't give up on your dream, okay? Now your dream could change a little. At different stages of life in that, you could go, okay, well, I don't want to work this physically hard in my business anymore, but I love my business. Who could I hire? Who could I create an opportunity for to help them grow and succeed while I grow to my next level? See, there we get into that we thing again. When you build something that includes others, whether that's a business, a job situation, a family, and God knows family includes others, it includes your family, a community, whatever it is, whenever you build it, you're going beyond yourself. And I'm going to leave you with this. And I know it's one more thing. When you do something for others you care about, you'll do more for them than you'll do for your own self. As a parent, you would put yourself in death's crosshairs to save your child. Okay? At least I would hope you would. Now, I wouldn't necessarily run in front of a moving vehicle for the hell of it. But if my kid was in front of a moving vehicle and they were going to get hit, I would get my kid out of the way and take the risk of getting killed myself. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you a quick story and then we're done. This just came to my head. It wasn't something I planned to do on today's show. When Lexi was little, we were down on Park Ave and we were going to get ice cream, I think, which I wouldn't eat ice cream today if you paid me, probably, because it makes my stomach go and we were, this girl made a left-hand turn off of the street and we were crossing, and obviously she wasn't paying a damn bit of attention, probably texting, and this car is coming at us full bore, and I literally flung Lexi, and she was pretty little. I mean, I wasn't carrying her, she was walkable age, but I flung her over onto the sidewalk, and literally the mirror kind of like just grazed my shoulder of this car. And if I hadn't flung Lexi, she was on my left-hand side and the car was coming from that direction. If I hadn't flung her first, this car would have hit her. That mirror would have taken her right in the face. And she was like, "Daddy, my God, what happened?" She goes, "That person almost hit us." And at that moment, I realized that was a defining moment in life, that I would put my life on the line in an instant, no hands down, for my child. When you do something for somebody else, you'll always, somebody you care about or your community, you always do more than you'll do for yourself. You know, another example, and then I'm really done. You know, I've always said, you know, if I didn't have a family and it was just me, I would build a little extra room in the office and just live there. You know, and put a shower in. I wouldn't care about, you know, so much about having a home, but when you have a family and a spouse, you care about having, you know, more of a home. Does that make sense? And I think that's why I want to leave you with that, because that'll be your driver, your why. All right, guys, I have taken just a little bit of your time this morning. It was a little bit of a long show, but there's a reason for it, because you needed to hear the message today and the question and answer it honestly. If not now, when? Live with faith, energy, passion. Always live your dreams. This is Coach Lew signing off. You have an amazing day, guys.
Ready to take it to the next level? Next level? Tune in to XLR8Life.com for our live shows, encore presentations, life-changing courses, and live coaching with Coach Lew himself. As Coach Lew always says, live with faith, energy, love, passion, and always live your dream.